So we'll begin by looking at what the applicable rules are. Essentially, we'll be asking the question, which rules apply to me? Will it be the UK GDPR or the EU GDPR, or indeed a combination of the two? Once we've looked at that by reference to a series of slides, we'll then move on to talk about the issue of representatives. And essentially, if you're UK-based and dealing with EU data subjects or vice versa, you will need to appoint a representative in that other place. And we'll talk about how that works, what sort of liability representatives may incur, and also what happens if you fail to appoint a representative. We will then move on to talk about the issue of lawful bases. Now, this concept is linked to the first principle of the GDPR, which essentially requires that data is processed in a way that is lawful, fair, and transparent. And the word lawful basis essentially means having a good reason, a justification for doing that. We'll see what those particular justifications may be, and we'll examine how that then works in practice in the context of direct marketing. Next issue will be the issue of international data transfers. Now, that's a huge topic, which is far too big for just to squeeze into part of this session today. However, what I'm going to look at is the fact there have been some important changes, both at a European and a UK level, and give you an update as to where we are with that and what you need to do about it in practice. We'll then move on to the evergreen topic, which is that of personal data breaches, and we'll look at one or two important questions there. When am I required to report a data breach of that particular sort? To whom? How do I do this? How do I record it? And so on. So we'll look at some of the practical issues with regard to that. We'll then look at the issue of compensation, which is something that we have obviously uppermost in our mind, where we see more and more cases where claims are being brought for breach of the data protection rules, with potential claims for compensation attached to that. We'll see what the recent decisions of the courts have been. We'll look at when compensation might be recovered, and indeed how much. And finally, we'll look at the fact that at the date of recording, there is on its way to us the Data Protection and Digital Information Bill. I'll talk more about some of the potential changes contained within that at the end of this session today.